Hey there! My name is Mike Munzing with Munzing Mortgage Group. So glad you could join me this week. Each week I make these videos to give you the updates on what's going on in the real estate market, in the mortgage industry, and overall in our economy here, both locally and nationwide. This week, we're going to be jumping on the foreclosure information for both the state of California as well as Orange County, California, right here in our backyard. First, let's jump onto the rate sheet. Rates stayed just about even with what they were last week. The bond market, which kind of controls the rates, had a pretty rough week, but I think a lot of the lenders are trying to keep those loans coming in. So rates are fantastic. Print that up, go down the rate sheet. If you're holding an open house this weekend, go to my website at www.mikemunzing.com. Get this rate sheet, look at what the rates are, know what the options are for the folks coming in off the streets, and let's go over that so you can let them know and have them give me a call. Okay, let's jump into this report. Now, I get my information from ForeclosureRadar.com. My buddy Sean O'Toole up north puts that together. He covers the western states and all the foreclosure numbers. So if you're working with folks who are trying to buy foreclosures off the steps of the courthouse, you want to subscribe to his website. You'll get the latest information. You can really track individual properties through the process so you know what's going on and how to go through that. Now, this report is for January, for basically last month. There's always 1 month back, but let's take a look what's going on. Now, what he does comment in the report here is that the number of investors has really spiked. Those folks buying the homes off the steps of the courthouse, generally coming in, paying 100% cash. They don't have any title. They don't have any of the other warranties on that. They come in and just basically pay cash, get them from the bank, and move forward from that. Those are the ones that we're seeing coming back and entering the market as an investor seller. And it's going to affect some of our buyers, maybe give them some opportunities down the road here. But what I want to bring up is what Sean is saying, and he backs it up. January's numbers should put to rest any notion that we will see a wave of foreclosures in 2012, at least in the western states where he covers. Foreclosure starts remain near record low levels, significantly lower than a year ago when many banks still had self-imposed moratoriums in place due to the robo-signing scandal that we talked about last year. And to a foreclosure time frame of more than 8 months, and there is little chance of a wave this year, even if all the banks started the foreclosure process en masse tomorrow. So basically what he's saying is that it's not looking like we're gonna have a whole bunch of foreclosures coming on the market, and hopefully some of these sellers are gonna start bringing some of those properties back. Let's take a look at what the numbers are, bring up the chart. Now this is the one for California as a whole. The notice of defaults for the month of January were at 19,706 properties, and that's a pretty good jump, 15.5% over the previous month, but those numbers have been down overall. Notice of trustee sales is at 25,933 properties. Now that was a decline overall for the whole state of California of 9.62%. Now we've got the cancellations. See, what happens is once it goes to the sale date, either it gets canceled or it gets sold to a third party, or it goes back to the bank that brought the foreclosure process into being in the first place. So the properties that got canceled, a lot more are being canceled now, 13,668, and that is a decline from December of 22.65%. Now the properties that went back to the bank was 8,864 properties, and that's a jump of 9.6% of the previous month. And finally, the sales to the third party is 3,964 properties. That's where the big jump is. In California here, 26.89% increase over December. So those are some interesting numbers for California as a whole. I know a lot of you say, Mike, we want to know what's going on in Orange County. Now the notice of defaults in all of Orange County, right here locally, was 1,243 filings of notice of default. and that is a jump of 17.26%. Next are the notice of trustee sales. Now, once again, that's when the homeowner has been notified that your house is going to sale, and here's the date, and that is 1,600 even. Now that's a drop of 9.5%. Next are the cancellations of the foreclosure process of homes right here in Orange County, and that is 867, which is a decline, slight decline of 4.4%. And the back to the banks would be at 403 properties that at the steps of the courthouse down here in Santa Ana, back to the bank, and that's a fairly substantial jump of 20.66%. And finally, the really big jump in Orange County is the 244 properties that were sold to a third party, and that is a 51.25% jump in the Orange County alone. So interesting numbers. Once again, the biggest thing to recognize is, unlike a few years ago, the big scare of a massive foreclosure wave has been held off for a number of reasons. Even though a lot of folks are underwater, they are holding off on actually jumping and going for those foreclosures. Well, hey, couple of things. It's been quite a week. Monday night, I spent the evening being the photographer for Newt Gingrich and a couple of events that he had. So that was interesting. For those of you who know me, I'm quite involved politically. And then Thursday morning, I missed a lot of you at the realtor functions because I was with a very large group of folks. You may have, actually my picture was in the register, but we're out there for Obama coming to town in Corona Del Mar. But that leads me to the next thing. Last year, or excuse me, 2 years ago, I mentioned I was running for office then. I filed my paperwork this week. I am fully filed and verified to be running for the 73rd Assembly District, which is now much larger. So if you live basically from Aliso, Viejo, across the valley, through Mission Viejo, out to Rancho Santa Margarita, and then all the way down to San Clemente through both sides, Laguna Niguel, Dana Point, and San Juan, all the way down. I'll be running for the Central Committee for the Republican Party. You were so helpful in getting me elected 2 years ago. I've been serving in that role. I want to keep doing that, so I filed the paperwork for that. Also, I've mentioned, I'm also running for Aliso Viejo City Council. Now that election will be in November, but keep that in mind. Talk it up a little bit. Talk me up to your neighbors. If you live in the area, just say, hey, we've got a lender friend. It's been around in the real estate industry about 28 years. I've always tried to shoot straight, always tried to be honest with you. I never, ever partook in those subprime loans, the stated incomes. Those would have been easy money, but I could see the problems with those early on. So keep me in mind for that. I won't bring it up every week, but I also want to let you know now that I've filed for that paperwork. It should be an amazing weekend. I will be working. I am always available at 949-689-5626. That is my cell phone. It's with me night and day. So give that a call. Love to talk to you, love to catch up and work with you and your buyers. Well, God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America every day. And keep working hard. I respect what you do. All right. Bye-bye.
This is the house we used to live in. This is a place I used to know. This is the house we